ValveTime.net.
Hi, and welcome to our first Roundup News episode of 2016, where we'll recap the latest news regarding Valve and the community. As anticipated back in December, this past week saw Las Vegas, Nevada play host to CES 2016, which was rather heavily focused on virtual reality. As expected, the event saw Valve and HTC unveil the Pre, a second-generation update of the original Valve Developer Kit, which features the curved and smoother design leaked back in December. Like most of the internet imagined, the big technological advancement boasted by HTC a while back was in fact a front-facing camera which allows the headset to be used for augmented reality experiences while also improving the existing chaperone system the Vive uses during room scale. Instead of the colored grid which previously appeared when a person moved close to the boundaries of a play space, the system now fades in a mesh-like render of the real world, informing the player of exactly what it is they might be about to bump into while showing them how far away it is. This system could also be used at will by double-tapping a new System button below the touchpad, which will render the real-world view on a permanent basis until the button is pressed again, making it easy to walk around, interact with objects, maneuver furniture without having to remove the headset to limit the risk of bumping into anything. Given developers are only now just being given access to the camera as part of the Steam VR SDK, it may be some time until we really see the rest of the device's augmented reality potential explored. Thankfully, the camera was far from the only improvement to the Vive and its family of devices. The headset itself is now more compact and features a rear cradle for the head strap, making it easier to mount the cables and the 3 straps around the back of the head. Other improvements include redesigned and more ergonomic controllers with a spherical hole in the head rather than a large, weird-looking pyramid. These controllers feature more tracking points in more suitable locations, a dual-stage click on the rear trigger, better build quality, built-in rechargeable lithium batteries, and more pronounced and easily accessible side grips. Finally, the base stations now appear smaller, darker, and relatively featureless, making them far more discreet than the older models. The Lighthouse base stations are now quieter and can also synchronize wirelessly, removing the need for the 50-foot sync cables previously provided to developers. Alongside improved image refinements and a brighter display, there's apparently a bunch of other neat improvements that we'll definitely be able to get more excited about when we actually see or experience them for ourselves. There's been a massive amount of impression videos and CES recaps released over the past week since the announcement, so we highly recommend heading over to the YouTube search bar to do some more research. Don't forget, pre-orders open sometime in February. Microsoft and Sony are typically the go-to targets for hacks and DDoS attempts around Christmas, and while the same was true this year, Valve and Steam definitely earned themselves a spot on the center stage on Christmas Day. Following attempted DDoS attacks on Steam, defensive practices typically put into place were badly configured on one particular occasion, causing cached web pages to randomly be shown to other users when attempting to check Steam account details. Clicking any links on these pages would then link to other pages for other users, making the whole setup a big, jumbled, and confusing mess. Since these pages typically show account details, they instead previewed certain otherwise confidential information, such as telephone numbers, addresses, account names, email addresses, and more. Thankfully, legal requirements prevented credit card or debit card numbers from being shared, revealing only the final 4 numbers, making them pretty unusable. Despite initial fears, all of these pages were read-only, meaning nobody was ever able to make purchases on behalf of anyone else's accounts, something later confirmed by Valve in their official statement on December 30th. In the press release, Valve confirmed only 34,000 accounts were involved over about an hour and a half at midday Pacific Standard Time, with only those who attempted to view the account's details page having their details shared. It's not currently clear whether Valve or their third-party web caching partners are to blame or exactly what the legal ramifications for this big event, if any. The one thing we would personally like to see come as a result of this event is better social media marketing and communication from Valve, as third-party sites like ValveTime and, more importantly, SteamDB effectively became the only reliable beacons of information in an otherwise confused community of fans desperate for answers. While Valve does a pretty good job of promoting their games and services when they deem it necessary, it's undeniable now that the community at large would appreciate a lot more direct and readily available news from Valve's own channels. If you want a deeper explanation of the situation straight from Valve themselves, be sure to check out their official statement available in the video description. The first update in 2016 for Counter-Strike Global Offensive, although small, added numerous improvements to the game's sound system while also replacing all arm, hand, and glove models in order to further improve the game's visual fidelity. The improvements affect all models for both teams on all maps, keeping the various faction themes all consistently good-looking. A follow-up update also fixed a number of bugs with these nice new models, so make sure you take a close look the next time you head into CSGO. While the Dota 2 scene is now looking to the in-progress Shanghai Major, an update in late December introduced the 6.86c balance patch, retooling a number of heroes to try and reduce or improve their effectiveness, which was especially important for heroes like Invoker. Other modified heroes include Faceless Void, Riki, Dazzle, Death Prophet, Undying, and Tusk, among several others. More details about each of these tweaks can be found over on the December 28, 2015 changelog. A quartet of other patches have since been released into Dota 2, so be sure to check those out while you're there. Team Fortress 2 wasn't going to miss out on the New Year's game updates, with a new patch released this past week adding new models for various items, fixing numerous bugs, and vastly improving the layout and appearance of numerous areas of PL Snowycoast, one of the 4 maps currently featured as part of the Tough Break campaign. More in-depth details about the patch can be found over on the official changelog as always. Since this episode is our first of the year, that of course means our previously released video was our annual year in review montage. As usual, the video recaps the past year's worth of news, including reveals, game updates, big events, and all the surprises. At between 2 and 3 minutes, it's a great way to relearn all the stuff that happened last year, so you don't really have any excuse for not checking it out at the end of this episode. The end of 2015 and the start of 2016 have definitely opened a big mixed bag of emotions, with no one single event hitting us harder than the recent announcement by Half-Life series lead writer Marc Laidlaw that he has recently officially retired from Valve after over 17 years of service. Half-Life fan Teddy Wolf recently emailed Marc to ask about the still missing Half-Life 3, only to receive a rather long explanation about how Mr. Laidlaw no longer works for or represents Valve after a recent retirement brought about apparently by his age and a desire to return to exclusively writing science fiction novels of his own design. It's not clear how Marc's departure will impact whatever future the Half-Life series may have or the writing standards of Dota 2, both of which he has also long written dialogue and story content for. There's not going to be any clear answers for a while, but for now we're eager to make sure the community focuses on what is important most, ensuring Marc's long legacy is looked upon positively and with respect, as some of Valve's best and most highly acclaimed games and stories just wouldn't have been the same without him. And for that we thank you, Mr. Laidlaw. We hope you enjoy your retirement, and we're looking forward to whatever you may get up to next.